she spent most of her young young life, but young adult life being hurt by other people. I think that she's worked very hard to build an armor to protect herself, and part of that is not getting too close to someone. So I feel like now that we're in a position where all of these emotional things are going to start happening, where now her parents are revealed as Snow White and Prince Charming, and she's now having to believe in a fairy tale land. She's now having to realize that there was some sort of crazy curse that this woman put on fairy tale land, and that her parents are her own age, and that she really was prophesied to be some sort of savior. I mean, it's so much to try to process that it's going to take a long time, I think, for her to deal with all of that. But I think the fact that she has all this emotional chaos that is facing her right now, it will probably be the beginning of the undoing of that armor, and it will provide the opportunity or the possibility for romance in her life.
How do you think Emma will deal with all of these changes?
I think she's going to freak out. I think she's going to be really overwhelmed and freaked out. I think, no matter what, she's a survivor, and that's always been her existence, is to find a way to sort of survive the most intense of circumstances. So there definitely will be that part of her, but I just think it's all crazy. It's crazy. And she's going to have to deal with everything suddenly being crazy. And I think she will deal with that in a very real way.
I have to ask you a totally different question. The show hasn't started in France yet, but on the other hand, House is finishing in France. I just want to know if you can tell me very fast, how was it to go back for
the season finale?
Right, exactly.
I was so happy and so honored that they asked me to be a part of the season finale. That show is such a wonderful part of my life. It changed my life in the most wonderful ways. And I have so much love for that cast and the whole production and the character. And even when I went back to go to wardrobe fittings, just putting on Cameron's clothes again, it felt like visiting an old friend or something. I'd worn those clothes every day for 6 years, and suddenly didn't wear them for 2 years and came back, and it was like, this is so wild. It was instantly familiar, and it was nostalgic in a wonderful way, and I think they did a beautiful job of ending the show. And I was very happy with the place that they gave Cameron in House's life in terms of the way they tied things up.
Okay, cool. Thank you very much.
Could you talk a little bit about Emma and Henry's relationship now that, he's telling the truth?
Yeah, I think it's going to be drastically affected, and I think that there's going to be some damage to be undone there as well, just as much as Emma's going to have a hard time dealing with the fact that her parents gave her up, and trying to understand why. She's going to have to answer to Henry in terms of, she had sort of placated him and not believed him all the way through and thought, oh, well, I'm just using this as a way to connect to you and try to be close to you. And he's an incredibly advanced child in the sense that I think he will have perspective on it in some way where he'll realize that it does seem outrageous and there's a certain amount of grace or forgiveness that he'll have there, but I do think there's going to be some damage to be undone for sure.
We found out that, Geppetto basically lied about how many people could fit into the magical drum. Do you think that information will come to light this season, and what will the reaction?
You know what? I'm guessing that at some point that will. I'm not sure when. I don't even know if that would be this season. But I do think that that something Eddie and Adam do a lot of is sort of holding their characters responsible for their actions. So when a seed like that is planted, you're not sure exactly when it will pay off, but at some point I think those characters will be held accountable for their decisions.
What are you most looking forward to this season now that Magic is...
Honestly, kind of what I was looking forward to last season, which is just that the writing is so extraordinary that you just never can guess what's coming next. We never read a script and think, well, this will probably happen this week, and that'll probably happen next week. That never happens. Every time we read a script, we have no idea what's going to happen. And that's an exciting place to be as an actor, because you always have a new challenge facing you, and you always have a new challenge facing you with very little time to work it out. So it's, you kind of get to live at the edge of your seat and in the adrenaline of the show and the momentum that it has and where the writing is taking you and sort of just getting on that wave and writing it,
Is it a very demanding role as time-wise, or do you still have time for yourself to, to...
It just depends on the episode. There are certain episodes that are incredibly time demanding, and then there are episodes where I work 2 days, and then I get a little break. So it really just comes down to by episode situation. I know that in the first episode back, I'm in almost every scene, and then the second episode, I'm in 4 scenes. So there's just times where, depending on what the storyline is, there's always going to be an element of Emma that's a through line, but sometimes it'll be a lot, and sometimes it'll be a little.
Do you have other projects, or...?
I just finished 2 projects in the hiatus. I just did a film called Some Girls and a film called Event 15. So both of those projects will come out in the next year.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.